thanks again for the likes. That's it's great. Keep them coming. If anyone wants to leave any comments, then great. But you know, it means a lot. So thanks very much for people who watch through and like. Yeah, today it's not going to be a very upbeat talk because I'm not in a very good mood. But the thing is, that's okay. I don't beat myself up about not being in a good mood. In fact, I try not to beat myself up about most things. I try to figure out if there's something, if something's not going great, what can I do about it? I figure out what the plan is as best as I can, then try and set some things in motion and just see, what works out. So, that's just basically, as far as I can tell, that's just the best way to fix things. So I'm not usually one for like moaning and groaning, but it's just, there seems to be like a bunch of things that just coincided, and it's just you're like, you know what I mean? It just gets a bit. So, like I said, I've been having some trouble with my shoulder. I injured myself. Well, I got injured in jiu-jitsu, and so that means I can't go and train. So obviously part of me being a bit at the moment is probably because I can't train, and like I'm not able to get stuff out of my system, because there's nothing like a good session of jiu-jitsu to put things in perspective and just change your outlook on life a little bit. So that's probably part of why I feel like things are getting a bit on top of me. Another thing, I bought this lovely house that I'm living in at the moment a few years ago, and there was like a tax break thing that you could get for having when you have a large family. So if you've got 3 kids or more, then like you can not have to pay some of the taxes that are involved in buying a house and stuff like that. Anyway, it turns out like several years later that it's now been deemed that I didn't qualify for those things for reasons, and so now I have to pay all that back, and it's like it's like €12,000. That's just like, tax man, give me €12,000 now please. That's like haven't really banked on handing over €12,000 at the moment, so that's kind of a pain in the arse. Other things, well, that kind of impacts with the fact that I'm a contractor, so like about now when I'm going to go on holiday, that's when I don't get paid. So having to face that with an additional €12,000 deficit is not very funny. What else? My youngest daughter is having a bit of trouble at school at the moment. Just like, nothing major, but it's just it's not nice for any parent to see like one of the kids having a hard time in school, you know what I mean? It's bullying. I suppose she is getting bullied a bit, but it's like, it's not to do what maybe my generation in the UK would call bullying, but it's still, it's still upsetting for her, and so obviously as a parent, it's upsetting for her, it's upsetting for me. What else? Yeah, things at work not going perfect, but more to do with the internal workings of work rather than like the job itself. It's just basically, don't worry, this isn't a video about how sorry I feel for myself. It's just that, so things in everyone's life, you know, not everything is perfect all the time. So, you know, sometimes you feel happier than others. But this is where it's important, at least I feel this in my case, to like take a step back and, you know, see, you know, what are the bits that I can fix? You know, what bits can't I fix? And what bits, you know, what part of me, you know, this situation should I just concentrate on, like alleviating the symptoms? So like, for instance, you know, I'm injured, I'm going for treatment, you know, there's not much else I can do. You know, that's one of those things that's just like literally, it's just out of my control. Until my body heals, you know, I'm not going to get back. And, you know, it's June now, it's looking like I'm not going to be training jiu-jitsu again until after the summer, which is like, you know, it's kind of disappointing. Because I was just feeling like I was getting some good momentum and, you know, I was learning a lot and I was progressing well. And, you know, all that's been set back. And anyone who's done like jiu-jitsu will know that you take a break for a few weeks and you feel like you don't know anything when you get back. So I'm not looking forward to going back like months later after a total hard stop. And there'll probably be new people there, like new white belts and stuff, and it'll just be like, you know, feel a lot like starting again. But, you know, there is literally nothing I can do about that. So, you know, so this is where, when there's things, like for instance, this thing that I have to sort out with the, you know, with the tax man, he's bigger and uglier than I am, so there's not much I can do about that. I'm just going to have to pay up. So, you know, I'll just have to look. How do I pay up? I'll probably just have to get along and suck it up, you know. Not happy about it, but at least I'm fortunate enough to be able to, I'm in a situation where I'll actually be able to get a loan and I'll be able to pay it back, you know, so there you go. So, this still leaves me in a situation though, where like, you know, I do have like that sinking feeling of, you know, like for the first time in ages last night, my wife said to me, "What's up?" Because there's a phrase in Liverpool where you say your face is tripping you up. It's like you just imagine so long that you get tripped up by it. And I suppose that was me last night. My face was tripping me up. And so obviously, you know, this, you know, that's fair enough when like you're living on your own and you know, the way you behave doesn't impact on other people. But the way, you know, there's 5 of us in this house, 6 if you include the dog. And you know, if one of us is like walking around and looks like they're in a bad mood or whatever, then it, you know, it puts it down on the household. So I owe it to not just to myself but to everyone else in the house to sort of like sort it out. So, you know, what do we do? What kind of things do we do to sort it out? So, like I say, there are things that I do every day. So one of them is I go to the sauna. And you see, the thing is, apart from all the benefits of sauna, which, you know, you do a quick search and look, you know, at the research, and you know, there's lots and lots of health benefits to doing sauna. But apart from that, probably the reason that I do it is because it makes me feel great when I come out. And like now, like at this moment in time, I can feel, at least my body is relaxed. You know, I feel, you know, I feel better than I did before I went in. And that's just kind of, You know, it's just one of those things that takes the edge off. You know the way like people drink. Why do you drink? Oh, it just takes the edge off. And it's true. You know, these little things really do just help you. So what else am I going to do? So I imagine what I'll be doing later, like just basically seeing, you know, after, you know, getting to work and tackling some of today's issues at work, you know, maybe I'll take a few minutes out to do a bit of tapping, because, so, I'm a firm believer in the fact that the way we perceive our problems does have a massive effect on how they affect us. So I know what my issues are right now. I've just told you what they are. It's just the things that are going on. And the thing is, me feeling bad about my daughter getting bullied doesn't help her. And if I'm not, you know, if I'm not in a good space in my head, I can't give good advice and I can't give good support, and you know, not just me, no one can. You know, it's not possible to, you know, be in a bad place and at the same time, you know, be able to help people. You just can't. So, you know, I'll be doing some tapping to basically, that won't make my life better in the sense of suddenly I'll attract forces that'll sort out my financial life or anything like that. Of course I won't. But at least it'll make me not feel as bad about it. It'll at least put it into a bit of context. Because once I'm going to, you know, if I've already set everything in motion that I can to make my situation better, feeling bad about it doesn't help anyone. So if I can just bring down the anxiety a little bit, I mean, who knows, maybe it will help me have some ideas to think about, you know, where I'm going to get some more money from, you know, but it's not, being in a fight or flight mode doesn't help you think anyway. So if I do some tapping and basically get myself in a better place, it'll just be better all round. It'll be better at work, it'll be better at home, you know, just not holding myself so stiff will be helpful for my shoulder, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of self-help sort of concentrates on, you know, you've got to, you know, invite love into your life and all this kind of stuff, and where, you know, so I'm not saying that walking around in a bad mood is a good idea, I'm not. But I'm also saying that you can't just wish things away. And if you're trying to wish things away, then you're not going to sort your life out. So as you know, I'm a big believer in, like, you know, taking responsibility for things. You know, that's kind of my shtick as like an anarchist and voluntarist, and you know, you've gotta own the situation. So just because, so like right now, the things that are going wrong, or you know, have gone wrong, it's not like any of it's really my fault. It's not like, oh, you know, so I don't have to start flagellating myself because I've done all these things wrong. But it's my responsibility to deal with them, and whether I can actually come up with a, you know, a better or worse, you know, solution to this, or it's all down to me, and no one else is going to fix this for me. And like, you know, and I don't expect anyone else to fix this for me. And so in some sense, it's kind of empowering as well. So it's like, well, you know, I made me bed, I'll lie in it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I have to wallow in the misery of it and feel bad. I don't help myself or anyone else just by feeling bad. So it's kind of your responsibility as well to deal with stuff. You know, so it's not just, oh, I got myself into the situation, how am I going to get myself out? That's obviously part of it. But a big part of it is, alright, so I'm in this situation. What am I going to do? Alright, well, these are the things in motion. I still feel anxious. Alright, now I'll deal with that. Now that I've put things in motion to sort this thing out, now I'll work on myself. Because there's no point, there's no brownie points for suffering here. So that's what I'll do. And I think people kind of miss the opportunity to like learn something from these situations. So obviously I don't want to get in these situations again if I can avoid it, and so maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll think harder about, you know, having the emergency nest egg, or I don't know, you know, just whatever. But you know, it's important to have at least, you know, enough, you know, self-love to be able to say, right now I'll look after myself and, you know, see what I can do. And that's why I recommend looking into things like EFT, you know, tapping and things like that, or even like binaural beats and things. I use them when I'm like stressed at work and I need to concentrate, or I need to like gather my thoughts and take my concentration to another level. I'll stick on my headphones and listen to some binaural beats, and you'll be surprised just how much it really does sort of like reset your mind somewhat. You know, maybe it's just the actual, maybe 80% of it is the fact that I take the time to actually sit down, put the headphones on and say, right, now I'm going to do this. I don't know, I can't say that that's not the case. But whatever it is, I do actually think that the binaural beats are good. There's lots of, there's lots of samples of things like on YouTube and things. And you can really, or at least it works for me. You know, I'm not saying that you have to go out and buy anything, but there's loads of stuff that you can find on YouTube that's, at least give you an introduction to it. So, and another thing that you can do is talk about it. So that's what I'm doing now. So even though, I don't know, whatever time I started this video, I don't know, my life hasn't actually changed. My shoulder isn't any better. I'm not particularly, maybe I'm only, minutes closer to going back and training jiu-jitsu. But everything else is just exactly the same as when I started. But I do feel a little bit better because I've sort of got it off my chest. And I've got it off my chest in a way that I don't really have to worry about, who I offend or anything, because I don't, people don't know how to listen, which is kind of, it's like, I don't know, it's something that I've noticed. Sometimes when people come to you and want to tell you something, try and just like keep your mouth shut and listen. That's something that I learned several years ago, years and years ago. In fact, I don't even know if I learned it. I think it's just something that I just did. I remember when I was 16 and my first girlfriend, and we went out and we were going to go somewhere. We ended up going on a big walk because I can't remember, we missed the bus or something. And she was just talking to me, just telling me stuff. It's like, I still remember that conversation that we had because I just shut up and listened. I think that was like the first time where, it was the first time that it dawned on me that when people talk to you, you don't always want an opinion. And everyone wants to give an opinion. I find myself wanting to give opinions about stuff, obviously, but hopefully that's when it comes in the question. But lots of times people have commented to other people about me listening. So a couple of times it's come up in people, I found out that, you know what my girlfriend said the other day? She said, why can't you be more like Fran? He just listens to me. And it's like, that's kind of funny. But sometimes it is easy to just listen to someone when you just like, you don't care. I mean, not that you don't care, but you know that you've got absolutely nothing, no sensible input, so you just sit there and listen. But anyway, so yeah, if you're feeling down, see if you can go and talk to someone, and even if you have to tell them, look, I just want to get this off my chest, can you just listen, and then I'll ask for your opinion in a week or so. So that's basically it. I mean, make sure, like, I'm an admirer of stoicism, but people seem to have this idea of like, being a stoic is about just, you know, bearing discomfort and not, you know, not complaining about it. And that's not stoicism. Stoicism is like where the whole like the stoic nature comes from. It's like, you know, you differentiate between what you can fix and what you can't. And basically you just need to, the things that you can't fix, you just got to let go of. Because otherwise, you'll just be beating yourself up about it. And that's just, you know, that's what I'm always saying. Don't beat yourself up. And I really mean it. Because if you've got this like internal monologue, like just, you know, telling yourself how bad you've done everything, how bad everything is, and it's just driving you nuts. Don't torture yourself. Just don't. There's nothing to be gained from it at all. Like nothing. I mean, so as long as you've accepted, you know, you do need a bit of self-reflection. Obviously, I'm not saying don't self-reflect. You know, you don't just need a bit of it. You need a lot of it. But there's a difference between reflecting on what you could have done better and just, you know, just downright beating yourself up and torturing yourself about things. So if you can catch yourself doing that, that's why meditation is a really important tool towards self-knowledge, because once you realise that most of your thoughts, you don't really actively think them, they just pop into your head. And then once you realise that like the way you keep yourself brewing and annoyed is just by repeating things to yourself. If you just stop telling yourself how bad everything is for a few minutes, it just goes away. You just don't feel as bad. So, you know, bear that in mind. Anyway, my hunger's got the best of me again. Hopefully the veg is cooked enough. Hopefully the salmon, the frozen salmon that I was cooking isn't just warm sushi. No, I think it's really going okay. Yeah, we're fine. See, all turned out good in the end, didn't it? Anyway. Right. So my lunch is over. Thanks for watching. Like I said, thanks for the likes. Give it a like if you liked it. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.